welcome back to Telltale Books. I'm Greg,
I'm Emily.
and we're here to talk to you about another, I'll skip the jokes, Philip K. Dick short story.
A little dick. I like the little dick commentary. It's funny.
Gotta sneak that in.
I do.
Okay.
It's like a thing now.
Size doesn't matter. Short stories are great.
Yes, they are. It's not the tool, it's the carpenter. Or in this case, it's not the story, it's the author.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is Colony. This again is June 1953. He did publish quite a few stories again in June.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to be stuck in June for a while.
Yep.
This one's a little longer. It's a novelette.
Yep.
It was first published in Galaxy magazine in June of 1953. Galaxy was a new magazine in 1950 or 51.
Okay, so it's still
First
in its
on the
prime.
scene as part of a big, mainly because of the UFO craze. Everybody started getting interested in science fiction. Hollywood was making science fiction magazines, so a lot of science fiction magazines got started up, and Galaxy was one of them. And this was one of the better magazines and lasted until 1979 or 1980, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
So it kept and published a lot of the best authors from the Campbell era, Asimov and Heinlein, and them. A lot of them switched and published in Galaxy.
Because that's capitalism.
So Dick got published in Galaxy, and I read it back to this one again, Paycheck. And of course it is available online. You can get most of those early Galaxy magazines are available as PDFs.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find a PDF of the Galaxy magazine and read Colony online.
Yay!
Electronically for free.
Freedom!
So what is Colony? Okay, my synopsis is coming right out of the magazine.
Mm-hmm.
The worst part about having an alien enemy is that you can't always be sure whether it's an enemy, especially if you can't find it.
Mm-hmm. So the fun synopsis about this one, though, it's kind of like a body snatcher situation, but instead of bodies, it's inanimate objects, like everyday objects that the aliens are snatching, or making doppelgangers of. And then you almost get strangled by a towel.
Yeah, which is really cool, because these people will just be... It starts out, a guy's looking through a microscope.
Yeah.
And the microscope all of a sudden starts to strangle him.
Yeah, like it just starts, animates
comes alive
and just
and starts to strangle
strangles him, and... The whole thing is like this colony of people believes and has been scientifically like researching this planet or asteroid or something. I think it was a planet.
I think so.
Yeah. So they're trying to colonize this planet and trying to figure out if there's actually any predators or predatory things or germs or anything. And they're not finding anything.
Right.
Until
like
the microscope tries to strangle this guy. And then the guy gets gaslit because they're pretty sure he's psychotic. Because they have, like, one of the robots do a psychological analysis on him and saying that he's unstable. But of course he's unstable. He just got... Nothing makes sense now because he just got strangled by his own microscope. So then he finally has witnesses to him being attacked or someone else being attacked by an inanimate object. And they start realizing that, oh, crap. Whatever this is, it's basically like a mimic. It just is mimicking everything. And so, like, if you see a duplicate of anything... And so then they start getting really paranoid, which is kind of funny, where there's like, were there 2 of those over there a minute ago? Are any of these chairs in this conference room like a mimic? Are we gonna die if we sit in one? And I loved the end. Can we just spoil the end?
Go ahead. Spoiler alert.
So the only way that they realize they can get off this planet without accidentally bringing stuff with them is if they come stark naked. They basically put out an SOS to another spaceship and forewarned them, we will be coming onto your ship buck-ass naked. Because, like, their clothes could very well be.
Yeah.
So they can't trust anything that's an inanimate object except themselves.
Right.
So they just end up getting picked up. They buck-ass naked. And then there's more of a twist! Can I spoil that one too?
Go ahead.
The spaceship is the mimic! And they all get eated. And they're dead. The end. But then the real spaceship arrives and they're like, where the fuck are these people? Well, damn. So that one was a really good read too. I really enjoyed that one a lot.
And Of course, it's following from the themes we saw in Second Variety and
Yeah.
Imposter, and
We're starting to
of,
see
you
this
know,
body snatching mimic theme
yeah.
ongoing.
And if you're reading them too close together, it can get to be a little bit
Yeah, I was starting
obnoxious.
to mix them up.
Yeah. Hard
Like,
hard to
which one
keep
is
them
this one
straight
again?
and like once again, but
They're different enough.
interesting perspective on this one. I mean, a lot of this is coming out of the Cold War and the McCarthy era, where people are running around paranoid that their neighbor might be a communist,
Yeah.
infiltrator,
The red
spy,
list and whatnot, yeah.
And Philip K. Dick is kind of making fun of it. Your stapler could be an alien invader going to kill you.
Could be a communist.
But I mean, that's
Yes.
the kind of paranoia we had in this country during that period of our history.
Yes.
Where we were afraid of everything.
Yeah. We kind of experienced that after 9/11 too. Suddenly, everybody who was kind of had a darker skin tone was
everybody that had a slightly Muslim-sounding name.
Yeah.
Where'd you
Anybody
come from?
who looked Middle Eastern in any way, even if they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a terrorist?
Are you going to crash planes?
I go into a theater and I'm afraid a white man's going to shoot. I don't know. But we do experience that. It is very much like a commentary on the reactionary nature of humans.
Mm-hmm.
We do tend to be reactionary. We formulate prejudices very quickly to protect ourselves.
Yeah, but we often allow our paranoias to take over our minds and take us too far.
Yes, it's one thing. So one of the things that I really appreciated about my intercultural communications class in college is it taught us the difference between what's hateful and what's a prejudice, because all creatures develop prejudices as a natural form of protection. Mm-hmm. Doesn't say it's good or bad, it is just a thing that living creatures do. It is when it becomes hateful, like racism, or leads to hate crimes, or leads to irrational behavior against another person based off of those prejudices and stereotypes. That is when it is taken too far. And this definitely, I mean, they had to take it pretty extreme in this particular storyline.
Yeah.
But who wouldn't? Because they at least were looking at it logically and not necessarily based off of just being reactionary. Yes, there was paranoia, but they did rationalize it a little better.
Kind of unlike Who Goes There, where they did kind of start freaking out about the whole thing, wondering who they could trust, and everybody's the alien, and
everybody's out to screw you, or kill you. But
but I mean, we see these issues even in our society today, and it generally comes from bad experiences.
Yeah,
you have a bad experience,
trauma,
and are traumatized, and now you're looking at everybody that matches the person that traumatized you, and you're wondering, are they going to do it too? How can I trust that person? How can I possibly just go on with my life and not be fearful of that person when I've already been in that situation?
Yeah, and you see anything that slightly resembles it, even if it's a normal human character flaw that can be remedied, or a normal, honest mistake, and it just triggers you. Especially like if you've been in bad relationships. There are some toxicities that are kind of universal across humans, because people are going to people, and we're not perfect. No one is perfect. And so there are things that are going to be triggering. So that's why I think it's so important to be logical and try to get help and find better coping mechanisms to talk yourself out of realizing that they're not necessarily going to hurt you intentionally like other abusers in your past have. Sometimes it's just people being people. Not that people can't be trash. Like, they can be terrible.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, you can definitely.
But not everybody is looking to do it intentionally. Some people just need to be pointed out, hey, this is kind of not great, a character trait. And a lot of people have full capacity to curb it or change it.
And I think the vast majority of us, even among those that are not perfect, which is most of us, the vast majority of us are not serial killers.
Yeah, we're not trying to be hurtful.
Most
of us are just trying to coexist.
You can't adopt this paranoia that everybody's out to get you, everybody's out to hurt you.
Yeah.
You have to be cautious, but understand that most people are going to be mostly decent.
Yeah, there's a difference between living with healthy caution and just living in fear and anxiety.
Yeah.
And if you find you are living in fear and anxiety, seek help.
Yeah, because,
But yeah.
I mean, you simply can't live without sticking your neck out there at some time.
Yeah, and I think that was a great point in this one, too. He knew that it didn't make sense, but he still sought help. And I think that speaks a lot to people with mental health issues. Like, he's like, I probably am going crazy. I'm still going to ask for help. I'm going to ask for an analysis. We are going to eliminate all the other possibilities and decide if I am or am not crazy. So no matter what, he was looking for help in all directions.
Yeah.
Also, in the context of realizing that maybe he's wrong. Maybe that didn't actually happen. Which I think was really big of him, because that's kind of how I strive for that in my own life, is approaching everything understanding that I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And being open-minded enough to accept other possibilities. And I think that was really big of him, especially like when we consider mental health and men having a hard time seeking help and talking about their feelings and talking about their experiences. So I kind of appreciated that about this story, where it's like, there's no way that was real. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. I'm going to get help. Instead of just like taking it on by himself and pretending it's not real. I liked that.
So this is a really good story, but it's another example of Philip K. Dick messing with your reality.
Yep.
And messing with your head. He seemed to love to do that.
And loves doppelgangers and mimic stuff. He's in a phase right now.
Yeah.
I like him, but I like that they're all different enough. Like, they're still all really different and interesting stories.
He's telling the same stories, the same few stories over and over, but he keeps coming up with these interesting
changing the dynamics slightly enough that it's a totally different story and different set of circumstances. But I like the concept of this alien life being able to like mimic things down to the cells.
As long as it's not like a TARDIS and gets stuck in the wrong thing.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh no. Oh no. But yeah, definitely a good read. Very interesting. Top tail.
Very good.
That's all I gotta say.
That's all I got on this one too.
Yeah.
So like us, subscribe to us, come back and watch more. Leave comments. Tell us what you think. If you read it, if you didn't read it, still leave whatever your thoughts are.
And if you have other stories outside of Philip K. Dick that kind of play with this mimic, body snatcher kind of theme, I would be very interested, because like it's so interesting that he has so many variations of a similar theme. I would like to hear more of them. So if you can send me links or recommend short stories, books, anything that kind of plays on this theme, I'd appreciate that too. Because this is kind of a fun concept to play with.
It is.
So, thanks guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.